This is the first part of a series that I will be doing on this channel, all about finishing my abundance of whips. This first video is just going to be going through all of my whips, every single one of them, there's a lot, and making decisions, deciding what we want to finish, what we want to frog, what we want to forget about. This is going to start the journey that has needed to happen for years. Some of these whips have been on the needles for years. So you just saw this behind me, but these are my active whips. So these are projects that I have cast on pretty recently. I plan to finish them. There's a clear path for their destination. We have a cat there in the background. Of course, always a cat around somewhere. So we know where these are going. We have a plan for them. They're fine. They're safe. They're good. We like them. We don't have to worry about them. We're not talking about them in this video. What we do need to worry about, though, is this. These are all of my whips. I searched every inch of my house to make sure that I had them all, because some of them were stashed in some places that I was trying to forget about, but I found them all. So there's one that we can go ahead and get out of the way because I've already made a decision on it. I'm already working on it. And you have seen this if you watched my last episode. This is the Fern and Feather. It is a colorwork yoke sweater. So this has been a whip for over a year, but I already pulled this one out. I've already been working on it. So this one's fine. This one's good. We like this one. We have half of a sleeve to go. This one's gonna be finished quickly and we don't need to worry about it. Let's chat for a second about how we should not feel guilty for the amount of projects that we have on the needles. It's very common in the knitting community to kind of shame ourselves for the amount of whips that we have going at one time, myself included. Most of us are making because we enjoy it, because it's a hobby, and we want to have fun with it. And some projects don't go as planned. Some projects end up in a bag stuffed in the back of your closet for several years before you either decide to finish it, or you decide to frog it, or you just leave it in the bag and you're like, you know what, we'll deal with that later. Your success is defined by your own standards. So if your knitting success looks like starting a bunch of projects, casting on all the time, finishing a few of them, and you are perfectly satisfied with that, then you're good, you know? Like, you don't have to answer to anyone. You don't have to justify anything. You don't have to feel ashamed that you have so many whips that you're working on. Knitting productivity is a thing that we get caught up in a lot, and I personally find it very motivating to finish projects, to work on projects, to get a lot of progress made and to show people that progress. That's personally what I find motivating, and so that's why I share what I'm working on. Some people really don't, though. Some people find that very stressful. They find it, you know, kind of takes the fun out of it for them. And if that is you, just like don't give a shit about what anyone else is saying. No one is forcing you to finish any projects. No one is making sure that you are productive as a knitter, that you are successful according to them. If anyone is you know, making you feel bad about it, then like they don't understand what a hobby is, which is that you have fun. So I just want to preface with that this video series that I am doing is not like everyone let's unite and finish all of the projects because it's bad to have ongoing long-term projects, because it's not. It's just a neutral thing. It can be bad if you view it that way. It could also be positive if you view it that way. You've got a lot of projects going, you have a lot of ideas, and you're very creative. You're working on a lot of things. I mean, you can view it whatever way you want. So for me, I want to consolidate how many whips I have at one time, because that is the way that I feel good about my knitting. I think you get the point. I think you get what I'm trying to say. And no, I'm not procrastinating, okay? That was an important point that I had to make. Okay, let's now address the projects. So I have set up a Trello board. I have 4 categories that I can put each project in. The first category or bucket is prioritize, and any project that I want to complete next is going to go into that bucket. The second is long-term whips. So these are any projects that I do plan to complete, but it's not going to happen immediately. The third bucket is one that I'm really hoping to avoid, so hopefully none of my projects end up in this bucket, but it is back burner. And these are projects that really I just can't make a decision on, or projects that I don't want to frog because I've put a lot of work into them, but I also don't want to finish them. The fourth bucket is frog, and that means that I will just be completely ripping out the project, using the yarn for a different project, and being done with that whip. The first whip that I'm pulling out is a pair of mitts. And these I already know exactly where they're going to go because they are very close to being done. So I have the first one finished, I have about half of the second one to go. This is not going to take me that long to complete, and it is something that I would like the finished object of, so these are going to go into the prioritize bucket. This next project is a pair of bulky socks that I was working on, and these I just cannot envision myself finishing, so I am going to frog them. So next in my cute little cat bag, I have a crochet project, and this is a pillow that I was working on. It's a granny square pillow, and I actually kind of made a video about this where I was at least starting this project, where I was kind of mood boarding it a little bit and like picking out different colors to crochet a pillow for my knitting chair. And I got pretty far in it, and I do still like these colors quite a bit, so this is going to be a project that I am going to plan on finishing, so I will go ahead and add this into the prioritize bucket. Next is a shawl design that I've had on the needles for literal years, since 2017, so 3 years now. This is a crescent shaped shawl that I was designing. It has some lace, it has garter stitch. I'm using this really nice woolen boon yarn that I bought. This was actually my first luxury hand-dyed yarn that I ever purchased, and I have 3 skeins of it, and I still really like these colorways. So this has kind of been in my mind for a very long time, and I've really thought hard about this because I like where I was going with it. I love garter stitch and lace. It's just one of the things I think is so aesthetically pleasing, and I do like this lace quite a bit. Realistically though, I don't think that this is something I'm going to finish. It has been a design in the works for 3 years now, and there are a lot of garter stitch and lace crescent shaped shawls. I mean, there's just a lot of this type of design in the industry, and I just don't think that mine is really going to add a whole lot of value, if I'm going to be completely honest. This, unfortunately, I think is going to go in the frog pile. It's been 3 years in the making, and we're just gonna do it. So next I have 2 sock projects that have been on the needles for a while. This first one is one that I actually cast this on not too long ago. I think it's been a couple months, 4 months. I seriously have no idea how to tell time anymore. This was a pair of socks that I started, and I was working on a really cool design, and they ended up being too small, so I ripped that out after I finished the whole sock, and then I just cast on a vanilla sock. And I just cast on other socks instead that I've been working on. So this is almost still an active whip, and this is going to go into the prioritize because I definitely want to finish these. I also have another pair of socks that you have seen somewhat recently, and I just pulled the needle out of half of the stitches, so that's going to be fun to sort out later. But I've actually been working on these off and on, so I have like 70%, 60% of a foot, so I'm getting really close to finishing the first one, and I think once I do that, I will be motivated to finish the pair. So I will definitely add this to my active sock whips. I'm probably way less likely to finish these now that I just ripped the needle out of them. This next whip is a sweater, and you are going to laugh at me because it only needs 1 sleeve and this sweater would be done. This is the Ursa by Jacqueline Cieslak. It is a bulky sweater. I mean, it's gonna be really quick to finish. As soon as I finish my Fern and Feather, this is the next sweater that I'm going to pick up the sleeve, knit the sleeve. I will be done with it. It really won't take me that long, so I'm going to move this into the prioritize bucket. It is also in my Fat Squirrel Speaks bag, which is probably my favorite bag. This next project is actually another design. I've, as you can tell, I have a couple lingering designs that I couldn't quite part with, but I've kind of faced the fact that I'm not going to be a knitwear designer, at least in any sort of like full-time professional capacity. But I started this hat, honestly, I think 4 years ago. I think this is my longest standing whip in existence. This is a beanie that honestly, like, I still like. So I think the fact that I still like it 4 years later and I want to finish it is testament to the fact that I should probably publish this pattern even just for free. I am not going to work on this immediately because it is a design and I do have to figure it out, but I'm also not going to frog it. So this is going to go into the long-term whip bucket. I will finish this someday. It will probably be after I've finished quite a few of my other projects though. The next bag is full of what looks like a lot of different projects because it is, but I have them all in one bag because I was working on a bunch of crochet zero waste bags, like grocery store bags, produce bags, really anything that you want to put in them that will fit. And I was working on a bunch of them. I was going to make them for gifts. I was going to make them to use, like for us to use as well. So I finished a few of them, but I do still have some of them unfinished. And I definitely want to pull these out and start using them. I kind of forgot about them, so that's unfortunate. But so I have that one finished. I just kind of have a lot of stuff stuffed in here. I also have this one finished. I like this one quite a bit. This is crochet fingering weight thread, and they take a while, and I can't really say that I enjoy working on them, but I really like the concept of going zero waste, and I do have quite a bit of cotton in my stash that needs to be used. So that's where I was going. I thought these white ones might be kind of fun to dye as well at some point. So yeah, I'm not sure. I was kind of saving them because I thought some of them might be gifts, but I should probably just go ahead and use them because I have not given them as gifts. There's another project in here as well that I was working out of this same crochet cotton that's just a mess in here. So this was going to be a crochet sweater. I think it was like a one-size-fits-all kind of confusing pattern that I was working on. I don't actually know if I would ever wear this, and I don't think it's worth the hassle. So I think I'm gonna frog the sweater that I was working on, but I'm going to keep the bag. My next project is one that I've posted about on Instagram recently because I pulled it out and was kind of like, I need to finish this, because I do. And this is the Daffodil sweater by Wallin. Look at that, I'm just going into podcaster mode telling you exactly what it is and what yarn I've used. I have the entire back finished. This is a cable and lace sweater. It is a big project. I was very ambitious when I cast this on, and I still love it. I still plan to finish it, but it's one of those that I really need to like sit in front of my laptop and look at the chart and kind of make sure that I'm on track. Because as soon as you look away and forget where you are, it's just a pain in the ass to get back to where you're supposed to be. So it's one of those that you really have to pay attention to, but I love this sweater. I want to finish it. There's no way in hell that I'm going to rip all of this out. So this is going to go into the prioritize. I also started the front, so I have, quite a bit of the front done as well. So I really just need to like sit down, focus on this. This is probably going to be one of my last whips that I actually finish because I'm really just going to need to like focus on this one only and not lose momentum with it. All right, so my next whip is one that I have kind of been avoiding, not going to lie. It's one that I have told you about, I've talked about it, and I don't know how to feel about it. So this is the Texture Time Mystery Cowl by Stephen West. This was maybe I don't know if it was his most recent MCAL, I don't think it was, but it was a couple of years ago. He did this MCAL, and okay, here's the context. So Stephen West super huge, still, you know, obviously still really big. His mystery knit-alongs were getting really big, and every podcaster was doing them, everyone was doing them. At the time, I was just like kind of feeling shitty about myself. I wanted to participate in things, I wanted to like be a part of the community, but I was so busy with life and just had so many things going on. Plus, I was a broke college student, I was working my ass off, I was making zero money, and I really just wanted to like be a part of something. I wanted to do something cool. I always missed the knit-alongs. I always missed like everything that was going on because it was just all happening so quickly and I wasn't paying attention. Then Stephen West announced that he was hosting another mystery knit-along and that this was going to be like the most exciting one. It was also a time that I felt very stale with my knitting. I was lacking creativity. I didn't want to work on anything. I didn't even want to cast anything on. I was just like, I don't want to knit. But you know, I still felt that creative drive. I wanted to be creative. I wanted to do these things, but you know, I just was dealing with a lot of depression, and I was dealing with issues that were just keeping me from feeling like I could be as creative as I wanted to be. I was talking about that with my boyfriend, and we went to our local yarn store and he purchased the yarn for me. It was really nice. He spent quite a bit of money and I was so excited. I felt like, you know, the pattern started out complex and it was really intriguing and it really held my attention, and it was just something that was so much fun to work on. And then it kind of quickly turned into this shawl that I realized I would never wear, and it became a project of disappointment and also a little bit of shame because we had spent this like so much money on the yarn and I knew I probably wasn't going to wear it. But I kept going because I didn't just want to stop, and I do really like it. I just feel like the way that the colors are represented was not the way that I was envisioning it in my head. So the colors I picked out, I like, and I think they go together, but they're not really like my colors in the pattern. So this is the Texture Time shawl. And this is where you start in this like entire middle panel is brioche. And it's 5 colors. I think you use all of the colors in the brioche, and it's really cool. And this was the part that was like really engaging and interesting, and this is the part that I just had so much fun with. And then you pick up on the sides of the brioche, you knit 5 Latvian braids. 6? Oh my god. I knit 6 Latvian braids on each side. Okay, this was a labor of love. Seriously, I was actually watching The Haunting of Hill House when I was knitting this. It's really funny how I just like remember shows or books that I was listening to or something that I like whatever I was doing while I was knitting. I typically remember that. And then you continue on with these stripes that I wasn't loving. I was not loving these stripes. And you knit that on the other side as well, and then there's like another section on either side, and then there's an optional border around the entire bottom. So I tell you this very lengthy story because I don't know what to do with this. I just don't know. I don't know what to do with this. I've had thoughts of like, well, maybe I like put it on the wall. It's like a wall hanging, or just like put it over my chair or something like that. Maybe I finish it and I just like force myself to wear it and see if I like it, because as I mentioned, I like the colors. I just don't know if it's my thing. But also, I mean, it's kind of like a cool piece to show off, you know? I mean, it's very complex. I think if I had chosen different colors, if I'd seen what the shawl looked like and I had chosen different colors, I would 100% wear this. So it's not necessarily the design. I think what I realized out of that was that I was not cut out for mystery knit-alongs. I don't know if I can give someone that much trust because it's a lot of time, it's a lot of money, and as much as I like this as a piece and I am happy to have knit this much, I don't know if I'm gonna finish it, and I don't know what to do with it if I do finish it. What do we do? What do we do? I've thought about finishing it, I really have. I think this striped section really just like puts me off. So maybe what I'll do is find some other colors that go with this well, rip out this striped section and reknit it with some other colors that I think complement this a little bit better or a little bit more to my style. So it depends, because that would involve me putting more money and more time into it. Plus we have like this beast to address where there's just a million ends. So this is going to go into the back burner because I don't have any yarn picked out to knit with it. I don't really have any like concrete plans to finish this, but I could never in a million years frog it. I also don't know if I know how to frog it. I would probably be better off just throwing it away. But the yarn is just way too nice and I don't like throwing things away, so I really could never do that. I think I'm gonna rip this section out. I'm going to find new yarn that matches this and we're gonna go from there. But until I have that like planned out, because I can't do that yet because I don't have the yarn for it. So until I have this planned out, I am going to put this in the back burner. Those are all of my whips. You know, it feels good. It feels really good to go through those with you, to talk about them, to decide where we're going next with them. And from here on out, I have not really fully planned this video series out, but I'm envisioning working on certain projects at a time and documenting my progress that I make, and hopefully documenting me finishing these whips. My next video will probably be my approach to finishing all of these things, how I'm going to stay motivated, what my like rules are for casting on new projects, probably some like step-by-step plans, some project plans that I will outline for finishing these projects. Until then, I will continue working on as many projects as I can, trying to finish them all. It is now nighttime and we are being illuminated only by a terrible lamp. And we have also been graced with 2 grooming cats. So I think that is my cue to turn the video off. All right, everyone, that is all from me. I hope you enjoyed and I will see you next time.